Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. And guys, let me tell you about Tennova's Men's Health Center of Excellence. Prostate cancer can be a very scary thing, but with Tennova's Men's Health Center of Excellence, you'll have a nurse navigator that is assigned to you. Answer any questions you have, discuss treatment options, walk you through the process, 1, 2, 3. They hold your hand. It makes the entire deal much easier. You go through much more informed, much less frightening. Make Tennova your very first call when it comes to anything prostate health related. As a man who's been through that and has dealt with Tennova, I can do nothing but give them my greatest praise. Tennova Healthcare. Learn more at Tennova.com. All right, back with Bob, Mike, Chuck, and Jimmy. This week, after saying he was hoping to make a hire in June, Jeremy Foley at Florida immediately turned around and hired Michael White from Louisiana Tech. I was praising him to somebody the night before, saying, he's smart, he's taking his time. Next day, Foley is on the phone to Michael White. White, of course, turned down Tennessee after Cuonzo Martin left. He wouldn't land at UT. He turned it down. Tennessee wound up with Donnie Tyndall. Mike Strange had an interesting column this week where he said, okay, which would be better? You kind of left it open for the folks to decide on their own. Rick Barnes, based on his history and track record, or Michael White, based on his prospects. This is somebody that's never been to an NCAA tournament, but he's won 3 conference championships the last 3 years, has an SEC tie in his background, played at Ole Miss. I wanted to branch that out and make it more difficult for everyone. So we're not just going to look on the court. We're going to look over the next 5 to 10 years. All right, 5 to 10 years, you can have any of these coaches. Which makes you feel better about Tennessee on and off the court? Bruce Pearl, Cuonzo Martin, Michael White, who's now at Florida and turned you down, Donnie Tyndall, who, as Don DeVoe had said, we're going to take the high road. He hasn't been found guilty of anything yet. Or Rick Barnes. Who do you feel better 5 to 10 years on and off the court with as your coach?
Can I start with the least popular answer you're probably going to get as far as the people watching? I'd say Cuonzo Martin. And here's my reasoning. I haven't seen what Barnes is going to do at Tennessee yet. Tyndall off the court, Martin off the court, White, he would come under the same heading as Rick Barnes. Cuonzo Martin left here with no problems off the court, and you had just gone to the Sweet 16.
Well, I mean, I'll go the other route, and I'm going to say it's obvious to me it's Rick Barnes, because he went to 16 of 17 NCAA tournaments, and the first word he used in a job interview, the tip-off club with other people is, you're not going to have to worry about integrity. And with everything you've been through the past 2 coaches, that's huge. You can't say Cuonzo Martin to me because there wasn't a connection there with the fans and a lot of other people. I mean, I think it's clearly Rick Barnes.
Gee, there's a suck up to the fans answer.
I don't know.
I don't disagree with Chuck.
I lean more toward Chuck because I think Cuonzo Martin was not going to be accepted, period.
But, and I agree, but until Rick Barnes does something, we don't have a track record of him.
You got 16 out of 6. You got a track record
here
in
in
Knoxville.
We're not in Texas anymore.
I like his track record at Texas, though. Well, Saban had no track record at Alabama when they hired him, did he? And he did very well. So I think the track record that Barnes has makes you believe he's going to succeed at a higher level. What's Michael White's track record?
Yeah, it's short.
He hadn't won an NCAA. Has he been to one?
He hadn't played one, no.
So he's won 3 straight.
So I've got to go with Barnes based on track record. I've got to go Barnes based on recruiting, and I think it's actually a close second to Cuonzo on that argument. But I think Chuck's right. Cuonzo wasn't going to be accepted here regardless. I am impressed with what he's done recruiting at Cal, though.
Well, we had Mark Pankratz on last week who pointed out, I said, it was very interesting. I said, what's the difference between, why is he closing the deal there and not here? People forget he kept running into second place. He loses the top 5 guy to UCLA. He was second place for these guys. And Mark pointed out, he said, well, the kid he got from Georgia that's going out there, he was recruiting him since he got to Tennessee. Yeah. In other words, if folks had been more patient and not done petitions after 3 years, you might have had some of those guys coming here. But, I just don't think, because he replaced Pearl and for other reasons, maybe that's 10% these other reasons, but I think there are other things that prevented people in East Tennessee, some people, from liking Cuonzo Martin. So to me, I think if you look at it in a laboratory, he probably would have been up there. But in terms of the real litmus test with the population, it didn't happen.
Well, can I adjust my answer just a little?
Now that you've been beaten down, yes.
No, I'm still going to stick with. I thought better on and off the court meant off the court trouble.
Yes, it
I
does.
was not looking at popularity, but
I think it all walks in together.
when you turn into popularity, then that does change my answer. not to agree with Chuck, but to be slightly closer.
All right, Mike.
I go with Rick Barnes over Conzo because Rick Barnes' track record is terrific. He wants to be here. He's
Bingo.
accepted already. The only reason not to like Rick Barnes is you say, well, is he just mailing it in this last contract at this age? I don't believe that. So to
No,
me,
I don't think he will either. I think he's got a point.
yeah,
to prove.
to
I
me,
do too. I
there's
think he's fired
no
up.
reason not to like Rick Barnes.
Yeah, I think Barnes is your. Who knows? 5
And
to
over
10 years
Michael
from
White, and I'll take him over Michael White based on resume.
Now, nobody here goes Pearl. Is that sheerly on the because in terms of popularity, in terms of winning, that's clear. Is that based on the NCAA stuff?
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
100%.
And the same thing with Tyndall. I like Nani Tyndall as a basketball coach. It would have been interesting to see what he could have done, but he's had off-court problems in 2 places. Yeah, it makes you kind of shaky at number 3.
Okay, very good. Well, I think we are all in semi-agreement. We all have the same top 2, I think.
Yes.
Don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was clearly right, correct?
You're already producing the show. We're already producing today's show, Chuck. What more do you need? All right.
on your boat.
When we come back, how would you feel about losing divisional play in football in the Southeastern Conference? We'll show you some scheduling options. Come on back on the Sports Source.